What if the person you trusted most was secretly being paid to betray you? I've debated sharing this for months, but it needs to be heard. This all began during my second year at a university up north. I won't say which one. I'm in a sorority, Kappa. As an English major with law school ambitions, I took my studies seriously. That context matters for what came next. Last term, I took an advanced seminar on romantic poetry. The class was small, mostly upperclassmen. A professor led the lectures, but our TA, a guy everyone called Roar, ran the discussion groups. He was in his late 20s, thin, with the vibe of someone in a not very good band. Just odd. The seminars were fine, lots of talk about nature and emotion, but most students were silent. Roar hated the quiet. You could see it make him twitchy. He'd start calling on people randomly, which was awkward. Except for one person, a guy named Luke. He was tall, in a popular fraternity, and had this knack for breaking tension with a smart, timely joke. He actually did the reading. When he spoke, you could tell he knew his stuff. Needing the participation grade, I spoke up too. So, the discussions often came down to me, Luke, and maybe two others. Roar seemed to appreciate it. He'd nod at my points, sometimes expanding on them. For my first essay, I analyzed ambiguity in a famous poem. When I got it back, Roar had filled the margins with long comments that actually engaged with my ideas. It felt validating. But then his attention shifted. He started focusing on me more in class. Prolonged eye contact, questions meant just for me. First, I wrote it off. TAs favor engaged students, right? Around that same time, I kept running into Luke outside of class. Our Greek houses had a lot of shared events. We ended up talking more, and I started to like him. After a few weeks, he asked me to dinner. We went on a handful of dates. He was sweet, attentive. Things progressed naturally. It was easy, uncomplicated. One afternoon, leaving class, I saw Luke behind the lecture hall. He was smoking a cigarette with Roar, talking like they were familiar. I didn't even know Luke smoked. When I asked him about it later, he just laughed. Just trying to get on the TA's good side for a better grade, he said. I told him that was lame, and he shrugged it off. A few weeks later, I woke up in his room. His phone was on the bed, a video playing. I know I shouldn't have, but I looked. What I found wasn't texts to another girl. It was a folder, full of pictures, of me, dozens of them. Some were casual, ones I might have sent. But others were different, more intimate, and I had no memory of taking them. I wasn't angry. I was cold, hollow. I didn't confront him that night. I just pretended to sleep. A week later, I tried his phone password. It was easy, his birthday backward. This time, I went deeper. Messages, deleted files, and I found it. He'd been sending those photos, my photos, to a phone number. For weeks, since we'd started seeing each other. The log of messages and transfers was meticulous, sickening. I took pictures of everything with my own phone. My hands were trembling. I shook him awake and demanded to know whose number it was. He stumbled, bleary-eyed, mumbling about a backup phone, about keeping copies safe. It was a pathetic lie. I knew it instantly. I left before he could say another word. The aftermath was a blur. The police got involved. The number was Roar's. Luke confessed quickly when pressed. He admitted Roar had been paying him cash for photos. The whole arrangement started at the beginning of the semester. Luke was expelled. Roar was fired. I think there were criminal charges, but nothing felt like enough. That was over a year ago. I'm about to graduate. I thought it was over. But a few weeks back, I started noticing a silver car, parked near my sorority house late at night. Not every night, but enough. I haven't seen anyone inside. I don't know if it's connected. I tell myself I'm being paranoid, but the fear is real. How would they even know where I live now? This happened 2 weeks ago. I'm still shaken, but I have to tell someone. My name's Mike. I'm 22, living with my parents in Northern California. And no, it's not the California you're picturing. Snow's here. We're surrounded by forest, with the closest neighbor a 10-minute drive. I'm used to the isolation. 2 weekends ago, my parents flew to Europe for a wedding. I had the house to myself. A standard one-story place. My room at one end of the hall, theirs at the other, with the living room in the middle. The first night alone was fine. I crashed around 2 a.m. The second night, I went to bed tired and fell asleep fast. I don't know what time it was when I woke, but something was wrong. My room was pitch black. As my eyes adjusted, I saw it. My closet door was wide open. I always closed that door. Every single night. I have since I was a kid. My heart started hammering. This wasn't right. Without thinking, I grabbed my phone from the nightstand and flicked on the flashlight. I screamed. 2 figures were standing at the foot of my bed. Just standing there. The second the light hit them, they scattered in opposite directions. Fast. Like they knew it was coming. I swung the phone beam wildly, trying to track them. Something metallic clattered to the floor. I was just screaming now, pure noise. They bolted for my bedroom door. I heard their footsteps pounding down the hall. I threw off the covers and chased them. By the time I reached the hallway, I heard the front door slam shut. I stood in the dark living room, shaking, trying to breathe. Once I could move, I ran back to my room, locked the door, and called 911. While I waited, safe behind the locked door, I finally turned on the bedroom light. That's when I saw what had fallen. On the floor next to my bed, one of my mom's kitchen knives. I almost vomited. They had been standing over me, with a knife, while I slept. The police came, searched, found nothing. No forced entry. Every window locked. An officer suggested I must have forgotten to lock the front door. I knew I hadn't. My parents, when they returned, said the same thing. Forget the door. Why were they in my room with a knife? If they wanted to rob the place, they could have. I wouldn't have woken up. Thieves don't usually plan to kill someone in their sleep. Do they? My name is Natasha. This started 3 months ago, right after a breakup. I'm 23, and I just moved into my first solo apartment in Columbus, Ohio. A second-floor, 1-bedroom, overlooking the parking lot. For the first time, I had real privacy. For a few weeks, it was perfect. Then I began noticing a man. The first time was on the stairs, a guy in a gray hoodie, maybe late 30s, average. We passed without a word. A few days later, I saw him by the dumpsters. He just turned and walked away. The third time, I was at my desk and saw a navy blue sedan in the lot. Someone was inside, looking up. At my building. Maybe at my window. 10 minutes later, the car was gone. After that, I saw him more. In the parking lot. By the stairs. Always just present. I told myself it was coincidence. The complex isn't huge. Then one night I was at a Chipotle. A specific one. A 15-minute drive from my apartment in a different part of town. I looked up from my phone. And he was there. Sitting at a table across the restaurant. Same gray hoodie. Eating a burrito bowl. A chill went through me. This wasn't on his way home. You come to this place on purpose. He wasn't staring, but I felt his glances. When I got up to leave, he started gathering his things too. I walked fast to my car, locked the doors, and drove home checking every mirror. I took a weird route. I sat in my dark apartment for an hour watching the lot. I saw nothing. The next morning, the blue sedan was back. Someone in the driver's seat. I called the police. The officer was polite but said unless he was doing something illegal, there wasn't much they could do. He suggested I document everything. By the time a patrol car arrived, the sedan was gone. For a week, nothing happened. I started to relax. Then one morning I found a note, slipped under my door. Handwritten. It said, "You should really close your blinds at night." My hands shook so badly I dropped it. I moved out 2 weeks later. I went back to my parents' house. I thought it was over. About a month later, driving back from a new gym near my parents', I saw it. A navy blue sedan, parked on a side street just a couple of blocks from my parents' neighborhood. I know it was the same car. How did he find me? I didn't see anyone follow me home, which somehow felt worse. It meant he probably already knew. I told my parents. We're watching. We're checking the locks. It's been quiet for 2 weeks. Part of me wants to believe it was just a similar car. But I know what I saw. The fear doesn't leave. It just finds a new place to wait. If you made it to the end of these stories, you understand that true fear isn't about monsters. It's about trust broken, safety invaded, and the quiet dread that the worst moment might not be over. If these tales got under your skin, show the channel some love. A like on this video helps winds of thought bring more unsettling truths to light. What would you have done differently? Let's talk in the comments.